People are saying there are strange things happening when JK went to the airport and what happened there, as well as people trending another shipping rumor with JK and a female idol. And then we have the Korea Times reporting on something interesting with him. So hey Dumplings, it's Dave Desai. Let's get into it. This was a little bit of a shocking story where the chief of Qatar's tourism actually talked about inviting JK to perform in Qatar, saying it was essential to increasing tourism there. This became very much debated as a lot of people were basically thinking that this was supposed to be about BTS as a whole, but this ended up just being about JK and that they just wanted him to perform there, not all of the members of the group. The tourism chief talked about how he was very much upset that JK was in the military and he would very much rather JK perform than be in the military. And I would say most of us probably share that same sentiment, as most of us definitely want him to be performing. I think this was shocking to people because this is obviously such a big opportunity, right? And an opportunity that a lot of people feel like has shown JK has exceeded the popularity of the group. The fact that he is getting recognized as the person who can bring tourism to a place, and it's just him doing it rather than a group, then people start to realize that JK might currently be treated as if he is bigger than the group. Although I definitely don't know who is bigger or if it's actually important to say who is bigger or not. However, simply saying that someone needs to perform in a country does not imply that they are bigger than the group themselves. JK would have a reason to perform in Qatar because he's already made a song specifically for that country or for their celebration. So for him performing there, it's not like he's performing necessarily his own music, although I'm sure he can, but his performance is mostly aligned with Qatar because he has made a song with them, and likely Dreamers was really popular in Qatar. So it makes sense for him to perform there. And then on the other hand, it doesn't necessarily make sense for the BTS members to perform there because their songs may not be widely known there. And I doubt that their songs aren't widely known there, but their songs have to not only be widely known there, but be recognized as widely known there by their government officials who would want to ask BTS to perform there, if that makes sense. And of course, we often know that people on top or people in charge tend to be a little late in knowing what is actually popular and what isn't. But in this case, knowing that JK has performed a song that did really well be automatic. Like they know since it's done well that he will do well. So it's not really a surprise to me that they would ask one member, or they might have a preference towards that member. But of course, I hope when the BTS members all come out that they can all perform anywhere that they want and it will all be amazing. Hopefully that won't make people upset. But also, hopefully that could mean that maybe before BTS completely gets back together, JK is able to perform at Qatar or someplace like that, and that could really be a cool thing that he does. Who knows? However, that wasn't the only thing that he was in the news for recently, as some people were talking about the fact that he may or may not be in a relationship with someone who he has already been shipped with many times before, Lisa. Now, just to preface, this rumor started pretty much with no backing to it. The rumors were not based on anything other than the fact that these were two of the most popular groups at the time. And a lot of people felt like Lisa was really attractive and JK was also really attractive, and they just put them together. Recently, a new rumor started to kick up as JK went to the airport and was wearing a very specific outfit. Now, people believe that this outfit was created by a brand called Alter Ego, and that brand happened to be a magazine in which Lisa had starred on the cover of. So a lot of people then started connecting this to the fact that he obviously wore this outfit because either she had that outfit and then gave it to him, or that he's wearing it as a sort of homage to her being in that magazine cover. At a certain point, we have to realize how coincidental these things actually are, because the industry is not as big as a lot of people like to make it out to be. For example, the industry is mainly filled with people using the same resources that they get, and it's because it's easy. It's easier than going out and finding a new resource. It's easier than going out and connecting with a whole brand new group of people. They always like to reuse the same people, and the only time they actually stop and start looking for new people is when the old people aren't cutting it anymore and it's not getting the same results that they want. And I say this to say that a lot of people in the industry often like to wear the same thing, have the same stylist, have the same connections that they all have. And typically the managers or the team that surrounds the artist will have the same connections as another artist. This of course then means that there's going to be a lot, and I mean a lot, of overlap between one artist and another, and what one artist might wear or do versus another. Does that mean anything other than the fact that they're using the same people? I don't really think so. So let's not assume anything other than the fact that they're using the same resources, and then jumping to the conclusion that just because he has a hoodie and it's from the same brand that she is on the cover of is beyond a stretch and is beyond all of this, right? Because that's like saying if they both modeled for Vogue, they must be dating each other, right? And so yeah, I don't have to explain how ridiculous this is, and I don't have to explain that obviously people are going to be either wearing the same brand or modeling for the same magazine company just simply because that is a big company and it's going to get them the exposure that they want. And if you're a part of the same label, the label often has the same connections for everybody. That's often why you see when one artist in that label does something really big, suddenly a lot of the artists in that label are able to do that thing as well. It's because now the connection has been made, it's been established, right? And then now that connection trusts the label to bring more good artists on to help that connection. So all these things are normal. Now there's also been a lot of debate since JK and Jimin were allegedly traveling together. And what was interesting is that they weren't actually physically seen together, but they both went on trips seemingly on different days, but next to each other. So many think that they're going to probably be at the same place. They were just kind of waiting for a day and then have the next one come in and then be able to drum up more press because it's two different events, which I think is what it is. But other people think that it's to pretend like they're not being seen at the same place. But as we've seen before, there are backdoor entrances to airports and backdoor entrances to anything. And so if they want to hide this, they quite literally would just have hid it and made it not known. However, I don't think that that's what they're doing here. However, some people believe that this is a sign that JK and Jimin are in a relationship together and that they've proven this now with this. And this is where some of the controversy begins, as some people are upset that these rumors are even happening and attacking it. And the other people who believe in the rumors are fighting back to say, look, when other things are leaked, like V and IU eating at a restaurant together, allegedly no one has a problem with that. But when it's the airport videos of Jimin and JK together, suddenly there's this huge problem. And yes, I agree, there is a huge problem, right? Because if V and IU were allegedly seen eating together by fans, then they would not be seen by news sites. They were not seen allegedly planning this event. And it wasn't necessarily stalker footage that we see because the fans just happened to be there and take a picture. And they were not specifically stalking him to see V. They did not follow V throughout that whole night just to catch him at a restaurant. So neither of them are stalker footage, the airport or the dinner thing. So they can't be compared in that way. But the real issue is not just because it's a shipping rumor that people are upset about, because it leads to so many more things when people start using this alleged moment of JK and Jimin traveling someplace and saying that they were traveling together, because people are using it as this way to confirm their relationship and then use it to attack V, who is part of this other popular ship that people put with Jungkook. And these are not just simple threats. These are threats trying to kill V because they believe that he is standing in the way of JK and Jimin's happiness. So it gets much darker than just a shipping rumor, which is why people are attempting to debunk this constantly, because they want to stop the madness that's going on. And shipping and believing in that sort of stuff is not really madness in that way. Like, you can totally have your belief in your favorite ship, but to send death threats, to message a brand deal and tell them that Jimin and V might not be good for that, and then attack that, those people who are doing that, that is not okay. That is definitely going way too far, and that's attacking someone based off of a ship that isn't even confirmed yet. It's just based on how you feel, feeling like the ship is real without any confirmation. It becomes tough because a lot of people say in K-pop that they can't actually confirm these things. But the thing is, while they can't confirm these things, they wouldn't make it so obvious if it was real. So if we're seeing it and we're saying, hey, that looks so obvious that they're together, then likely they're not, because at this point, then the label would be like, okay, cool it with this stuff, or the label wouldn't allow them to do things together. So the fact that Jimin and JK had a show together, that would not have been allowed if the label actually believed that they were dating. Let me know what you think. Make sure to check out Patreon for more videos, linked down below. Thank you to this lovely comment right here. Love you, bye.